Here's an update right here. Come here. We have a cat. His name's Edgar Allan Poe. But basically, Dan Stevens is in it. He's good. Catherine Newton is in it. She's great. There's that guy who's the cowboy in Real Steel, and he's in it. You don't know who that is. And then, I don't know. It's a vampire movie. We're gonna cut the entire Abigail portion out of this video. I don't want to talk about Abigail. I realize this. Alright, welcome to Dante's Drive-In. This is the end of summer update. I've tried recording this several times now. This is the new opening. I've drank this entire thing. There's like a little bit left in it. Mr. Hooper! Tie up the boat! Tie up the fishing line, Hooper! We can't do this video. We can't. It's so hot in here. I'm sweating so much. You can't tell, but I am. And I've tried to record it so many times, and I did different setups, and I did different fucking lights. I've got this little LED thing. I got this fucking LED. I could make it red. Make it like that's like how hot it is. It's like, oh my god, it's so hot. It's like hell. He's in hell. You know? Yellow. It's not bad. What if we do this? Scooch over a little bit. Okay. Alright. Okay. Fifth time is the charm. I'm a little buzzed. I tried to do a review for the movie Abigail, and then I decided I had no interest in talking about it. And that's the thing is, why Dante's Drive-Ins take so long is I can only do one once I'm finally interested in talking about something. And I have no interest in talking about anything. It's so embarrassing for me to get up here and talk about movies and pretend like you guys give a shit what I have to say. I don't think you do. I don't care what people say about movies. I rarely watch movie reviews. It's silly to me. If I like a movie, I like a movie. If I don't like a movie, I don't like a movie. I can't help myself but see other people's opinions about movies and engage with them about that. And I do watch every now and again. You know, when I grew up, I watched a lot of Chris Stuckman and Jeremy Johns, but I've really grown out of those guys' videos, even though I still am happy that they were around to give me something to watch as a kid. I really liked I like 3C Films. He seems fun. I love We Watched a Movie, but it's almost because when I watch their videos, I don't really get like a critic standpoint. I get like just two dudes joshing about movies. That's what I like, and that's what I hope to offer you guys. It's just a guy talking about movies. So I tried to do a review for Abigail, and I have no interest in talking about the movie. I love the movie. I'd like to point that out, but I just have nothing interesting to say about it. So instead, we're going to jump into the next movie that I was going to talk about. And all these movies are just ones that I let pile up over a year, and I just selected them at complete random. Like, oh, I want to talk about these. So Abigail, nah, I don't want to talk about Abigail. I have no interest in talking about it. I'd like to talk about In a Violent Nature. And I think maybe after I finish this one, I'll go get another beer. Because the Coors Light, Coors Light, pfft. This is the banquet of beers. This is a Coors Banquet. I just blew through it. I'm so thirsty. And it's so hot. It's so hot. It's 105. 105 today. And I'm in a room with no air conditioning. There's like a little piddly ass fan spinning around up there. Whatever. Okay. In a Violent Nature. I went and saw this movie by myself on a beautiful summer night. Theater was full of other grown men wearing black t-shirts with some sort of band or horror movie thing on it. And so I fit right in. And then this movie was so fucking boring. It was so fucking boring. Did I hate it? No, I think I felt it was... I don't often use the term pretentious, but this movie was, okay? I don't know much about the director, but I've heard him say things that I don't really like, such as when someone says, hey, I really didn't like the ending to the movie. It felt kind of boring and annoying and unsatisfying. He'll be like, I did it on purpose. I don't understand the logic behind somebody that's like, I'm going to set out to make a movie intentionally boring and irritating for somebody to watch. When I was younger, and even films I have made personally, I'll give you actually an example. A friend of mine and I watched the movie Angst, which is a fucking awesome movie, okay? And we were obsessed with the idea of the fact that they were able to basically make a movie that was not one continuous shot, but one long journey with just one fucked up serial killer guy as he goes and commits a horrific murder, or actually a spree of murders. And you just kind of follow his thing, and then it wraps up, and that's it. It's just like you got to hang out with this fucking guy who's really fucked up for like a little bit of time, for like 2 hours or an hour and a half or whatever, and they gave you some cool music and some interesting visuals and just kind of like a really fucked up peek into this dude's life. And we took all the wrong messages from that, and we ended up making a movie called Return of Dr. Arachnoid, which we had this idea of like, let's make a movie with like these long fucking stretches of time where you're just hanging out with Dr. Arachnoid as he's like lurking around and stalking people. And then you end up making a movie that's very boring and not fun to watch, okay? In a Violent Nature is like trying to kind of do something where it's like, what if you hung out with Jason Voorhees for the whole movie? Like you never cut away to another person, and it is strictly like almost like a video game, like an over-the-shoulder camera angle thing. And there's been movies that have come along, like Hardcore Henry, that are like, oh, we're gonna do the whole movie in first person. People will say that's a gimmick, and it is, but I think all of movies are gimmicks. It's like, hey, what if this thing happened? Check it out. Go watch it. Like, that's like, to me, a movie in and of itself is a gimmick. So let's just say your movie's hinging off of a very specific concept of like, what if action movie but whole thing in first person? I liked Hardcore Henry. I thought it was a fun movie. So I'm not like inherently opposed to the idea of like, let's do that for a whole thing. In a Violent Nature is like if the most annoying motherfucker in the world made a slasher movie, and for whatever reason he's like, it's like, you ever think about how Jason, blah 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 blah, but then they make it, and I'm not saying this right. Let's say you made a Jason movie and you were telling me like it's going to be entirely from Jason's perspective and we're never going to cut away and you're going to just see what Jason sees the whole movie, I'd be like, okay, that's really interesting, because we never really get to see Jason's process. Sometimes we get glimpses of it. We mostly stick with the people that are at Camp Crystal Lake, hanging out, doing whatever. So seeing an insight into how Jason thinks, or what he does when he's not thinking about killing, like what Jason does with his downtime, that's kind of interesting to me. So then when you make a movie that's kind of like going off that concept, I'm like, okay, I'll bite. That sounds interesting. Like, even if it's kind of like, I was all for it. I knew it was going to be slow. I knew it was going to be lots of walking, lots of nature sounds and stuff. I would like sort of ASMR like. I was all for it. I was like, yes, please, show me what you have in store. Its answer was pretty much,
Jason's boring and doesn't do much, so he just kind of walks and does his thing. And that's it.
The creativity was like really lacking. There was not a lot of like interesting stuff for him to do in between killing people. It was just a lot of waiting around for him to get to the next kill piece. And these kills, while awesome, don't make up for the rest of the movie around them. I guess that's all I can really say. I will say that the yoga scene that everyone talks about, like, I don't want to be that guy that's like, that's it, but like, that's kind of, what? Like, there was so much hype around this, and I kind of hate the fact that, like, Terrifier 2 has broken our brains in the sense that, and we're going to get into this actually in a little bit when we talk about long legs, but there's now all of a sudden this, like, the way to sell a horror film is to convince people that, like, people were just, like, shitting and pissing and vomiting uncontrollably and going into the fucking anaphylactic shock, and they had to wheel him out to the asylum, like, immediately, and it was like, you have to sign a waiver to get into the movie, like, all this shit. No fucking movie. I swear to God, no fucking movie. I don't want to hear about a fucking Serbian film or fucking Irreversible or Masalo or whatever. No movie is able to fuck with me to the point to send me into fits of convulsions and vomiting and lock me up in a fucking asylum or whatever. Obviously, I'm being hyperbolic. But for a grown-ass adult to see an article that says that and then be like, well, I'm going to go see it to see if I can handle it. I want to see if I can take it, And then you go see it, and then your only takeaway was like, that's it. You know, it's like, that's annoying. At the same time, promoting a movie off of that, off like the whole thing is like, you gotta go because this yoga kill is like, oh my god, it's, oh, you know. And then going to see it, that kill was goofier than fuck. It was like Looney Tunes shit. It was something you'd see in like a Hatchet movie, where like Victor Crowley is like doing things to a person's body that really aren't even anatomically possible. So while it's a cool kill, I'm busy being distracted by the fact of all these stupid fucking articles that talked about it ad nauseum, and people just like gushing about this one scene in the middle of an otherwise whatever movie, okay? And then also the horrible, I mean like horrible, like worse than the Dante Grave Show acting on every character in the fucking movie, but especially the victim character in question, and her just like doing things in the middle of the kill that are like distracting me. Like, she doesn't feel like a person. She feels like one of those fucking like gel dummies from like Deadliest Warrior that's like just there to have a thing happen to it. That has more personality than this fucking lady. So I don't know. I think it's like because of also the movie itself draws more attention to this. So then, like, because the movie's so kind of unremarkable, I have to talk about this part of the fucking movie because it's all there is to discuss. You know, there's a cool kill where he drops a rock on someone's head and it makes a cool splat. Oh, I don't know. You know, there's cool parts where he goes under the water. That was kind of neat. I like the concept. I really do. When they make a second one, I'll fucking be there to watch it. But also, I've fallen asleep in a movie theater 3 times. Once was when I was a kid and I went and saw The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. I don't know why I did, but I fell asleep during that. Probably it wasn't a very good movie. I fell asleep during Despicable Me 2, and I got up and walked out when I woke up. And it was in the middle of the movie. And then the other time was this. And I don't fall asleep in theaters often, but this was just a crushingly like an endurance test of how boring you could make a movie. Visually cool, interesting stuff happens every now and again. It's a movie I'll for sure remember. But then, oh my fucking god, I want to talk to whoever thought the ending of In a Violent Nature was a good idea. I don't give a fuck if you tell me you did it on purpose, okay? I don't give a fuck if you wanted me to feel this way and feel pissed off or whatever. I'm drunk and I'm angry and I'm gonna fucking let you have it, you motherfucker, okay? I paid $15 fucking to see your shit movie, okay? That you got. A lot of people like myself would love to be in your position and be able to make a fucking movie, a horror film, and have it released into theaters and have people talk about it and have people wear shirts of it and sell action figures of it and do all these things that I get to partake in whenever a cool movie comes out, like Terrifier 2 or whatever. And when you get that opportunity, you decide to say, hey, you paid money for my movie and you wanted to be entertained on a Friday night after working a long week? Fuck you. I fucking hate you. You're a fucking idiot. Why'd you pay money to see my movie, you stupid fucker? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I hope you fucking die. I hope you choke on your fucking popcorn after you wake up in a fucking coma from how fucking boring my movie was. You motherfucker. That was the ending of this movie. It was nothing. I don't give a fuck what you were trying to say with it, or what you thought it meant, or what you want me to think it means. It was boring. Plain and fucking simple. It was boring. It put me to sleep. It meant nothing. It was full of shit acting. It wasted my fucking time, and my time is fucking valuable, which is why I rarely get up here to do a Dante's Drive-In, because if I do one, I want to make sure I have something to say. And what I have to say to you right now, motherfucker, who made In a Violent Nature, is that the ending of your movie is fucking stupid. And it's fucking boring. Stupid and boring. That's my review of In a Violent Nature. Okay? God, I'm so fucking hammered. I'm not. I had one beer, but it's so hot I sweat all my shit out. And so now it's like in my fucking brain. Let's just move on. What's the next fucking movie I got? Alright.